Good evening, students. We'll continue with the third stanza. Let me read out the stanza. Those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire, without victory, with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade doing nothing. I read again. Those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire, victory with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade doing nothing. So now children, first let us discuss the literary devices used. First is the case of wars. You see the first line, last word, wars. Then the second line, first word, wars with gas, wars with fire. So here the word war has been repeated thrice in the first two lines. So this is the case of repetition. Now children, next, victory with no survivors would put on clean clothes. Clean clothes, here the sound, k sound is being repeated twice. Clean clothes. So this again is an example of alliteration. It's not repetition because here the word is not being repeated, but the consonant sound at the beginning of the two consecutive words, that is clean and clothes. And walk down about with our brothers in shade doing nothing. Doing nothing is a case of oxymoron. oxymoron, oxymoron. So children, now what is oxymoron? Children, oxymoron is a literary devices where two words are associated having different meanings. This is one of my favorite literary devices. I'll give you some examples, children. Deafening silence. Deafening silence. So deafening means very loud and silence means very quiet. So two words are together and they have opposite meaning. Organized chaos. Chaos is never organized. Sweet sour experiences. Sweet sour. Sour is unpleasant and sweet is pleasant. True lies. Bitter truth. Truth can never be bitter. Truth is always sweet. So this is oxymoron. Wild justice. Justice can never be wild, because anything which is wild, it cannot be just. It means it doesn't follow any rules and regulations, and anything that doesn't follow rules and regulations is not just. So wild justice. Sweet revenge. Revenge can never be sweet. Regularly irregular. Consciously unconscious. Pink purple. Pink is good health, purple is death. Bright night. Night is absence of light and bright is presence of light. Insanely logical. Insane means having no sense and logical means having sense, having reason. So this again is an example of oxymoron. Cruelly kind. If you are cruel, you can never be kind. If you are kind, you cannot be cruel. Wise fool. We have many examples in Shakespearean writings. The fool is supposed to be the wisest of all the characters. So children, wise fool. So this is oxymoron. As we come across the literary devices, I will explain it to you. So doing nothing is an example of oxymoron, because doing means doing something, some action. Nothing means nothing, no action. So this can be one example of oxymoron. Now children, explanation of the poem. Here the writer is trying to explain that when we indulge in wars, children, nor are we only affecting ourselves, bringing chaos to our lives, bringing unhappiness to our lives, but also the well-being of the society at large. So if we want our happiness at the happiness of the world, we have to be still, we have to be quiet, we have to judge and count and measure our actions and words. So children, here there can be variety of wars, those who prepare green wars. So here you can see the immensity of wars. There are different varieties of wars. Green wars means where we play with nature, we don't take care, we don't respect nature. In the name of modernization, children, we are cutting forest, we have 100 reasons to cut forests, and we have to face the repercussions of the same, like in the present times, children. Then flooding and other landslides and all, it leads to that. Now wars with gas, here children, like chemical are used in wars and all. And so children, wars with gas and wars with fire. So when we have wars, here the writer is talking about wars. In wars, children, we use chemicals, we use gases, we use fire and arms and artilleries. Okay, so now here the writer, in the third line, you see victory with no survivors. Here the writer Pablo Neruda is making fun or mocking at human beings who go on recklessly without thinking about the outcomes of wars. War is no solution to anything, any problem. Talking, if you talk, the major and the most difficult problems will have solution. So he is against war, and he says that human beings think that wars and victories will give you happiness and make the world a better place to live in, which is absolutely wrong. Rather, we should shun wars, we should shun violence. And how can we do that? That is possible only through introspection. If we try to understand what is going to be the outcome or the repercussion of my action, I think if I think wisely and logically, no sane person, no intelligent person will ever go for war. So children, when we introspect, children, what will happen? Would put on clean clothes, like the soldiers who go for wars. They go for wars, they indulge in wars not for themselves, but because they follow orders. They just follow, they are just doing their jobs. So children, and work and would put on clean clothes. So children, in such situations, when we think, when we introspect, we wear clean clothes. Clean clothes means pure body and mind. So wearing clean clothes, we will come out with a new approach towards life. Now for example, we think that war is the answer to all the problems of life. So we will come with a new approach towards life, where we understand that war will lead to further wars, and it will lead to further wars, and then this will lead to the wiping away of human face from the face of earth. So it is not going to do any good to us in the long run. So we should avoid wars at all costs. So he says that we should come up with new approach towards life, and that will be the approach of peace and understanding, and that is possible only when we understand self as well as others. You can understand others only when you understand self. So before we point a finger at others, we should first understand self, because everybody is more or less the same. So now children, we will put on clean clothes. Clean clothes is an example of alliteration. K sound is being repeated. And walk about with their brothers. Here I would like to refer to one chapter from the history of India, where after winning the battle in Kalinga, when Ashok won, when he came to the battlefield where he saw thousands of dead bodies lying, it should give happiness to Ashok, Emperor Ashok. But he was feeling very sad, he was not happy, and he couldn't understand the reason why he was so unhappy even after winning the battle. So here comes Lord Gautam Buddha, and Buddha means knowledge. He gave, when Ashok went to him to ask the reason why he was not happy, Buddha told him that happiness is never without, it is always within. You have to find happiness within. all these empires, all this money, all these manifestations of nature, of nature, and this materialistic things will never give you happiness. You have to seek happiness within. So children, here I am trying to say that victory will not give you happiness, wars will not give you happiness, understanding of others, understanding of self will give you happiness. Because when you understand yourself, children, and walk about with their brothers, what you will do, you will understand others, and then in such a situation all the people, not only one place, all over the world, everybody will be like your brother. There will be togetherness, there will be a feeling of brotherhood, you all will be together. So when everybody is your brother, children, you always think about everybody's well-being. In the shade, here the shade means something very pleasant, something which gives you, which saves you or protects you from unpleasant situations, from sun, you can say, from difficult situations, shade, to make your life happy, and doing nothing. So sometimes doing nothing can be doing a lot. When for a moment you don't do anything, you are doing a lot for mankind, you are doing a lot for the society, because in doing so, in keeping quiet, in the moment when you introspect, you bring about stillness, and in that moment of stillness, children, you think, and you think wisely, and you think logically what you are doing and why you are doing, and should you be doing what you are doing. You get time to think about what you did in the past. Should you do that? Should you have done that? So these are questions when you ask yourself, when you introspect means looking within, you get answers to it, and you understand the meaning of your existence, that you understand the meaning of life. Life is not all about earning money and a lot of talking and lot of going and having many parties, and this is not life. Life is about the simple things, that everybody should be safe, you and others. So that is possible only when you don't act much, you don't speak much, and you, in the process, you understand yourself and you understand others. So children, with that, children, oxymoron I explained to you. One more figure of speech I'll explain, and that is symbolism. And symbolism is use of symbols to signify ideal qualities. For example, like dove stands for peace. Red rose stands for love. Ladder stands for connection. Black stands for evil or death. Broken mirror for separation. So children, this is symbol. Mother stands for love. Mother stands for sacrifice also. So children, with that we come to the end of today's video. We will continue in the next video. So for now, bye and take care.